Today's video, going to be replacing the radiator and the water pump on this crashed BMW. It's going to be a little different from what you guys are going to be dealing with since I don't have the whole front end in, but the parts are going to have to be touched regardless. So you can see that the fan shroud is all busted on both sides, and then the mechanical fan, it lost a couple fins, so that's done. Right here you can see the crack in the radiator from the accident, hence why we're replacing it. We're going to go ahead and take off the upper radiator hose, take off this clip. Now we're going to go ahead and take off the one that connects to the fill reservoir. You pull out to get some slack, and then these little legs hold onto it, so you got to pry out. You got to essentially spread it a little bit, and then it slides out. And there you go. The seal is in here, and that lock ring is just to hold it in place, but what does the sealing surface is an O-ring right in there. And boom, you just got to kind of pry this away because the seal is holding on pretty good on both of them. For this reservoir tank, there's one hose connecting at the bottom. Pop it off, and there you go. T25. One on the passenger side. We're going to go ahead and take off this electrical connector. Going to take off this under tray with the screws. Now with the under tray off, we can remove the final bits that are holding the radiator on. This little tray, all I got to do is push those little tabs that come out from the bottom of the radiator. Push them on with the screwdriver and it pops right out. And there you go. Here's your old radiator. If you look, this is how the reservoir sits in there. This is why we're replacing it. It got chewed up in the accident. While it sits like this, well, at the bottom, there's this tab. You want to pull it out. You can get it from where the fan is. You pull it out, and then you just pull up on the whole reservoir, and it pops right out. And right here is where it's sitting. So this oil cooler right here, see those, the two seals on the left and the right? They go into the left and right of this plastic piece. All you gotta do is pull up on that center tab and then wiggle it out. And now the oil cooler is disconnected from the radiator end cap. So this goes right over here. It's all a weird puzzle piece that gets put in all together, that's everything's intertwined. On this tensioner right here at the bottom, T60, we're going to take off the belt. Right next to the alternator under this idler pulley, there's a tensioner right here. It is a T50. We're going to go clockwise. There's 4 size 5mm hex heads to hold the fan to the fan clutch. Okay, I got the belt back on just so I can have tension on this pulley. I had to go to Harbor Freight, buy this 32mm. I'm gonna also show a picture right here that you can get online ahead of time, and it'll be the exact tool that you need for your 32mm nut, and then it'll hold on to these the pulley with the nuts. So I had the Harbor Freight version, which is 32mm for an air hammer, but I'm going to just use it with a normal hammer. We're going to go ahead and hit it clockwise. Four 10mm bolts for the pulley. We're going to replace the thermostat housing, which is attached to the thermostat. There's one 13mm bolt up here, and then 3 10mm. Now we're going to go ahead and tuck off the 4 bolts that hold the water pump, 10mm. Here's everything that we're replacing: the thermostat housing with the thermostat, water pump, upper and lower radiator hose, reservoir, and the radiator. So here's everything all laid out. Got some silicone paste. I'm going to put it on the O-ring of the water pump so it doesn't go in dry. And right here you can compare the old, new and old one. One of them is a plastic impeller and the other one is metal or cast. Torque is 89 inch-pounds. Got our new thermostat housing with a new thermostat. Go and set it up. The thermostat housing, 89 inch-pounds also. Now we got our belt on. Now we're going to go ahead and torque down the pulley bolts. 89 inch-pounds. We're going to move the temp sensor. Pull it off. Add a little bit of silicone paste. Pop it in. Got a little bit of silicone paste. Put it on the O-ring inside. Now we're going to go ahead and put the lower radiator hose on. You can leave the clip in because as soon as you press over, the clip's going to sit exactly in its groove once you hear that click. Going to go ahead and put the lower radiator hose on. Same thing, we're going to go till it clicks. we're going to go ahead and put our temp sensor plug on. This is where a combination of a lot of different things has to bolt in exactly together. This oil cooler with those two slots, not the middle one, the one with the seals, they sit in these two slots. This middle nub is the one that holds it on. The bottom of this reservoir has two slots, the bigger and the smaller one, that get pressed in here. Those got O-rings also, so make sure you lube those up. And this gets pressed on. And then with this all in, then this top and bottom hose will get pressed on. Now, with everything assembled, now we're going to go ahead and press everything together. Alright, you can see it's fully seated. And the order that I'm going to go to is I'm going to slide this in. This goes into the bottom of the radiator, and there's a screw that holds it down. And then from there, we can go ahead and put the oil, or up here, we're going to put this cooler line and this upper cooler line. And then with those in, electrical connector, and then we'll put our oil cooler right here. Now we'll go ahead and slide it in. Alright, pressed in. Now we'll go ahead and connect our electrical connector right here. That's on. Now we'll go ahead and lube up our O-ring. Our O-rings. Hear the click. And there you go. Oil coolers locked in and sealing. Now we'll go ahead and put this hose back on. Our upper radiator hose. And here you go, everything's replaced. We just gotta put the clutch fan back on, and then the fan shroud, and then go ahead and bleed the system. We have our new fan clutch shroud with the fan, so we're gonna go ahead and install that. I thought I pressed record, but I didn't apparently. So I went ahead and put the fan on. You want to use your tool, give it a couple of snugs. It's hard because everything is combined. You just gotta tap it just enough to where you know it's tied up. Alright, you just fill it up to the BMR's little red rocket pops out. And now we're gonna go inside. We're gonna go in here, turn our heat all the way to high. So this will bleed the heater core. We'll go upper, and then we'll turn our fan all the way up. And we'll go to temp gauge. On my thermometer, you can see it's 108, 113. So that means we're starting to get heat out of the thermostat, which is a good sign. That should bump up to like 190, 195, 200, depending on how hot these beamers run. But as long as we're getting heat out the top, that means the thermostat is opening up. We're looking good right here. Oil cooler connection is not leaking. Neither are the radiator hoses. As far as engine temperature, we're holding steady right in the middle. So let's go ahead and drive it around the block, see if it gets overheats. driving down the street, still holding temp. Out of the foot well, getting 140 degrees. Getting 130. And there you go. After a couple of cycles, you might check the fluid and it might be low. That's just because any air that was trapped in the motor and or the radiator gets popped out and it'll suck in the fluid. So you're going to have a couple air pockets for a couple of drives. But go ahead and just top it off and you're good to go. That's how you redo these cooling systems on these BMWs. Hopefully this video helps you. You have a good one.